there who do not understand some basic dynamics of owning livestock guardian dogs. And this is near and dear to my heart because people are breeding them like crazy, and with the homesteading movement, people are getting livestock guardian dogs, which is great. I advocate for them. They are the solution that has been used to keep livestock safe from predators for thousands of years. Not donkeys. You can't take other prey animals and expect them to keep other prey animals secure. We've had nightmare stories in our area of quote-unquote guard donkeys getting killed by coyotes. We have in our area, we don't have wolves, we don't have bears, but we have very aggressive coyotes, some bobcats, and anyway, bears are slowly starting to come our way from East Tennessee. But the point is, prey animals cannot keep other prey animals safe. They can be a deterrent of sorts, but they cannot actually keep them safe. So livestock guardian dogs fill in the gap. That being said, it is critical to understand that when you are working with these breeds, the temperament of your dog matters. Dogs, plural, matters. The training they've had matters. Their genetics and working lines matter. Where you got them from, the time you've put into them matters so much. The tragic situation I heard about was someone bringing in a newborn baby goat with a mangled leg, and the reason the leg was mangled is because their livestock guardian dog had been aggressive with it right after it was born. Now you have to understand, these dogs, newborn things, anything being born is a very overstimulating thing for these dogs. If they're bonded to the stock that they're guarding, and especially if it's their first or second time being around a calving or a kidding or a lambing or just birth of any kind, they pick up on the most subtle of things. They notice that their charge is stressed, is exhibiting signs, unusual behaviors, unusual smells. That puts them on high alert. They're already in an overstimulated state. They may also, predators pick up on those scent markers and all those indicators as well. So they may be on high alert as well. Hey, this is a predator-rich zone. My charge isn't acting normally. Their heightened reactivity on everything. If this is a young, immature dog and or one who has never experienced this before, they don't really know which end is up yet. All they have are some raw instincts, which, if you have done your shopping correctly, should be some good raw instincts, but they're raw instincts. And then this new thing arrives with maybe some distress and noises, and they can come in, and it's usually one of two things. You have 100-and-something pound dog aggressively cleaning a little tiny animal, because they're like, got to get that smell off of them to keep them safe. These are my charges, and it's a misguided, they're trying to help dynamic. And when you have 100-pound animal with large teeth cleaning tiny, young, fragile things, they can be damaged. That can cause inadvertent harm. And the second scenario is, wait, I don't know that thing. It smells weird. I'm going to eliminate. They view the newborn creature as the threat that just disrupted their status quo. You have to realize livestock guardian dogs often view themselves as, think of them as the MPs of your farm. They are the military police. They enforce order. They like things to be orderly. They don't think they have to follow the rules, but they want everyone else in the farm to be where they're supposed to be, to follow the general guidelines, not have any outside forces coming in and disrupting things. If in their framework, they're very smart, intelligent dogs. They're constantly problem solving. If in their problem solving brain they view this newborn animal as the problem, they'll try to neutralize the threat. Sometimes it's pick it up, carry it off, and go dump it somewhere because it doesn't belong. Other times it's chomp chomp, kill it, because they're neutralizing the threat. Again, these dogs are thinking and problem solving. So it is imperative for a livestock guardian dog's first two birthing seasons of its life, all the way up, and all really, I mean, depending on the dog, some of these dogs can run and mature up to 4 years old. Most of them start getting kind of mature at 2.5, 3. They'll be mature and start becoming reliable. But they should never be unsupervised. They should not be able to gain access to your birthing areas or the animals giving birth. I cannot emphasize enough how important that is. And then when you, like what I do with mine, when I'm training them in their first couple of births, I will bring them in with me, and then I will introduce them to the newborn. I'll let them smell all the smells. I will correct them if they get overeager or overstimulated or want to come up in their excitement up on the newborn. I correct them. I make them sit. I make them lay down. I make them watch. I set the precedent. I teach and train them. This is your protocol. This is your duty. This is what you're going to be smelling, and this is how I expect you to respond. I supervise every one of those encounters until I consistently see on their own that they're cueing the way that I want them to cue when I bring them into that space, or when they're observing the space through a fence. I want to see them not getting hyper. I want to see them very calm. I want to see them very deferential. I want to see the body language that they're being very deferential, cautious and careful and protective towards the newborn. That's what I'm looking for to let me know that they're starting to have the right mindset to be around birth. So, you know, there's this terrible press thing where people, and it's left over from some old times where people were just throwing their dogs out into the wilderness with a big herd of sheep and just giving them very little human interaction. That is never the dynamic in which these dogs, for thousands of years, they worked alongside humans in taking care of the animals. They were partners with humans, caretakers with humans. They were never just expected from the time they were young puppies to have no inputs, no training, no nothing. If you look at how these dogs are still raised in indigenous lifestyles following flocks of sheep, there's a lot of human management and training and guidance that goes into these dogs. And you have to bring that back. You can't just think, and this gets tricky because on a modern homestead, you're not dealing with big spaces where you can just separate out. So, you know, think through what kind of infrastructure you're going to need and what you're going to have to invest in for your livestock guardian dogs to be kept separate, especially for those first 2 years of their life when they're training. Our 2 livestock guardian dogs are now 5 and 3. Those are their ages, 3.5. And they're solid. They're rock solid. I would trust them in the field with my goats kidding. They are so good about it. And I've put that training time into them. But I would never have, especially my male. He needed a little extra time. He went through until he was 3 years old. I was still very carefully supervising him around birthings because he was so the way that his brain was approaching it was just, one, he was too excited or he was exhibiting some signs of stress. It was a stressful thing for him, and he was not. I did not want to see him stressed. I wanted to see him where he had a good understanding of what was going on. And he really just wanted to neutralize the scene. If it smelled like the afterbirth, or whatever, he really wanted to manage that scene and come in and be like the management team on it. And that's not his job. His job is to protect. That in his mind, he is protecting, but I don't want him interfering with anything. So it took him longer. He's a great dog. There's nothing wrong with that dog. But I have a feeling if I had let him be at a goat kidding when he was, I don't know, a year and a half old, I think he would have accidentally killed a kid. I think he would have overlooked it. I think he would have been trying to do his best, and he would have killed one or hurt one, like the case that just happened. And these poor owners were like, do we put our dog down? Our dog did this. Do we put the dog down? They did not understand what had just happened. I don't know, I don't know anything about their dog. I don't know if their dog's a mutt that someone is passing off as a livestock guardian dog. Also a huge pet peeve of mine. Stop passing off these dang crossbreeds as livestock guardian dogs. You can't have 35% Great Pyrenees and 20% Anatolian and the rest of it be a lab or a golden and call that a livestock guardian dog. Those are some wild card freaking genetics you're playing around with. That is not anyway, that's another pet peeve. So I don't know what they're working with, but let's assume that it was a good, solid working lines dog that just had training. They just need more time. They need more supervision. And anyway, that is my tangent for the day. And I'm not a perfect livestock guardian dog owner, but I have had 20 years of owning them, 20 years of experience in raising them and working with them, and I'm very passionate about advocating for their jobs, their roles, and how important they can be in a farm and homestead ecosystem. But it requires humans taking a far higher level of personal responsibility in the dynamic than what I'm currently seeing play out. And a lot of it just comes from ignorance. And so anyway, that's my rant for the day. I'm on my way to work. Hope everybody's having a great day.